TenantBase team. Wanted to quickly run a preview demo of Commission Track for some of your meetings today and tomorrow. I'm going to start by logging into a manager portal that also has individual agent access, so we can take a look at some of the setup. When I log into Commission Track, some of the first things that you see are a quick dashboard on the financials of the company, leaderboard for agents, future revenue projections, both yearly and monthly, things like that. We do have a lot of setup that, of course, we do hands-on with you. So things like tricky split plans with different tiers, we've got all of those already built out on the back end. And little things like customized invoices, notifications, which I'll show some examples of, custom fields for your vouchers, company settings and being able to set up an approval process, as well as your charge categories and mapping those to your general ledger accounts from an accounting perspective. Wanted to start with just a quick walkthrough. So we've got a voucher in the system, this TenantBase example, and when I go into this, we're going to see a couple of things here. Namely, the property information, the square footage of the deal, that 3,000 right in your wheelhouse. Some of those custom drop downs, so we know it's Office A, was a referral business, owner uses investment, $25 of TI. We've also got our affiliates, so our bill to where the invoice is going, our tenant, our owner, our property manager. We can fill out more if we want. We've already built out our key dates, 3% escalation, gross rent type. And it looks like we've got 1 month of free rent followed by that 3% lift per year and a 4% commission. We can set up our invoicing schedule however we want. On this one we did 2 halves, first half on execution, second half on occupancy. From there we are going to set up our agents, both inside, outside, any pre-split deductions, things like that. Looks like here of the 22,000 we've got Eric from CBRE taking half off the top, leaving the 11,000 to be split between Terry, Ben, and Tiffany. They're sharing that 20, 30, 50. We can see their gross, and those dollars will go into their split plans as money comes in. I'll show an example of that too. Also always recommend that you have all of your attachments associated with this deal. You can keep all those right here, so this is one source of truth, as well as any comments. So when this deal was submitted by Tiffany, there were some notes added. Every single deal has an activity log showing who submitted the deal, any edits that were made. So if I look at here, it was originally submitted by Tiffany and then edited again. Every deal also has a receivables ledger. So I'll hop out of here and just move down the assembly line. So on the receivables side, I can see there's already been a deposit against that first half, and we're still due the second half. Here's our deal balance. Moving on down, we do have invoices as well. So this was that first half invoice that I've gone ahead and created. And of course, we'd have your brand colors and everything in here, but it does pull all that key voucher data, so you don't have to keep remaking invoices over and over. And these can sync directly to your QuickBooks. So it's got our invoice bill to information, voucher name and terms, key lead agent, tenant, owner, the building it was for, square foot of the deal, our rent roll pre-built out, which is optional to include, as well as the invoice that this is being billed for, and showing our total rent, as well as any custom comments down at the bottom that are global or one-time for creation of an invoice. I can see that was already sent. And let's go in and I can take a look at the deposit that was made for that first half. All deposits are stored and saved in Commission Track, and they create a document recap. So I know exactly who got paid what on that first half, what Tiffany, Terry, and Ben's contributions to the house were, as well as Tiffany, Terry, and Ben's net payments. So the gross to the house, their ownership of the deal, their agent gross, their split plan tier, and their agent net, as well as our outside agent taking half off the top for our total distribution. Moving on down to payables, I can go in here and run our agent payment. I'll just put in some information here. I'll run it for all inside and all outside. And as this loads up, I can see what the brokerage house take is going to be, maybe moving from a trust to an operating account, what Ben is getting, and an individual little statement showing exactly what all came in. Tiffany, it looks like, had one check and is paying back a draw balance, so that $500 is coming out. If I wanted to manage that expense on the fly and maybe only take $250 out of this commission, I could change that here. I've got an outside agent. We've got his name, company, and address that we need to mail the check to, and the total amount. And then as I get down to the bottom, a quick summary of each inside agent, what they're receiving, and any outside agents. And when I post these, each of those statements can be automatically emailed to every agent on file. And as I get back in here to the payable side, I can see that all of my credits that were created have been applied a debit against them, so we never pay the same person, same thing twice. And then we would end on reports. Now, that was in the manager portal, so I'm going to toggle back over and we're going to take a look at Tiffany's view as an individual agent. Now, as just an agent in that permission set, you would only be able to see your agent view, where it's distilling that same information down, but to each individual agent's revenue, their future revenue that's out there by year, by month, current and aged receivables for deals there's on, as well as top current and aged receivables in order of dollar amount. As an agent, I can see the vouchers that have been approved and submitted, but I can't edit them. A manager or a bookkeeper would need to edit those, though I can quickly see the comps. So this is that deal we were just working on, the TenantBase example lease 1. I've got all my key information, affiliates, key dates and rent roll, invoicing schedule, and the distribution of who all was sharing the dollars and how. Notice here I'm not going to see any net numbers for anyone else, just able to see my own and my own statements. As an agent, I was notified the second that this invoice went out. I got a quick email and a copy of that invoice, which showed me this deal had an invoice go out on this date, this invoice number for this amount, and in Commission Track, I can see that as well. That invoice has been sent. I can see the history of deals that I am on, but no one else's. I also, as an individual agent, have access to all of my historical statements. They are emailed to me automatically, but if I wanted to come back in and quickly see that, I've got it saved here. Yep, the TenantBase deal had the first half come in. $500 was reduced because of my draw plan payment, and this was what I got paid. As an individual agent, I do have a smaller subset of reports, but if I wanted to quickly get to something like what's been my revenue per month, I can run a fast report and see my gross and my net for any period of time on a per deal basis. The other thing was when a deposit is made, you can have notifications set up so agents are updated, no more asking if that check is in yet. And every customer of Commission Track has access to our full help center, which is pre-built out with tons of articles and step-by-steps with video tutorials, as well as just about everything that you could need to learn Commission Track. In addition to that, we do have one-on-one trainings with everyone who uses Commission Track and group trainings for agents just to familiarize them with the system. And at any time, any user is able to directly call us. It's a team here in Atlanta, or you're able to view our roadmap, submit new ideas, or even just give us a phone call or start a conversation directly here in the app. And that's it for a quick preview today. I'd be happy to set up additional time to dive more in depth and do one-on-one customized demos for anything that comes up or you might need. And again, I'm Turner, one of the co-founders here at Commission Track, and thanks for viewing.